The final Beetle rolled off the assembly line in absolute silence, closing 65 years of a history that began with Hitler on July 30th, 2003. Deep inside the Volkswagen plant in Puebla, Mexico, the air hung heavy with the scent of cold solder and motor oil. On that very day in July, unit number 21,529,464 began its slow crawl down the final assembly line. This was no ordinary car. It wore a flawless baby blue finish and belonged to a highly exclusive edition of just 3,000 vehicles. Its final price tag was set at 84,000 Mexican pesos, a one-way ticket to nostalgia on wheels. But the origins of this rounded machine stretched back to a much darker and far more ambitious past. The year was 1938, when the totalitarian Nazi regime conceived what they called the people's car, the Käfer. Ferdinand Porsche was tasked with designing a cheap, rugged, and accessible vehicle for the everyday German family. However, the outbreak of World War II shattered that civilian dream and repurposed the factories into military machine shops. In the aftermath of the catastrophic global conflict, the Wolfsburg plant lay in total ruins and fell entirely under British control. A British officer, Ivan Hurst, saw hidden potential in that skeletal metal frame and immediately ordered production to restart. No one could have ever imagined that this aerodynamic, minimalist design would go on to conquer the entire globe so relentlessly. Throughout the 60s and 70s, the hippie counterculture adopted the Beetle as their ultimate emblem of freedom and peace. Those vibrantly colored vans and flower-painted sedans challenged the corporate establishment from the coast of California all the way to Europe. It became the rolling canvas of a generation, one that utterly refused to fit into the traditional molds of the post-war era. With over 21 million units manufactured, it easily shattered the all-time record set by the legendary Ford Model T. It was assembled in Germany, Brazil, Nigeria, Peru, and of course in Mexico, its definitive home for decades. The streets of Latin America buzzed with its signature hum, the unmistakable sound of that air-cooled four-cylinder boxer engine. It was an indestructible machine, mechanical, simple, and capable of being fixed with just a piece of wire and a wrench on the side of a desolate highway. But modern times demand safety, aerodynamic efficiency, and strict environmental regulations, standards the aging design could simply no longer meet. The assembly lines had to evolve to make way for the new century and much sleeker vehicles. And so, on July 30th, 2003, the Mexican factory workers knew they were witnessing the end of an unrepeatable industrial era. The deafening machines ground to a brief halt as a mariachi band played melancholic notes amidst the metal chassis. There were no pompous speeches, no loud celebrations, only silent glances of deep respect for a fading icon. The ultimate classic rolled off the line on flawless tires, wearing a final painted smile on its windshield. It was immediately loaded into a specialized container bound directly for the Volkswagen Museum in Wolfsburg, Germany. It left behind a nation that had fully embraced it as its own, transforming it into an everyday symbol of urban taxis and Mexican family pride. 65 years of automotive history captured in a single collector's piece, forever valued in our collective memory. The engine went silent once and for all, but the echo of its silhouette lives on in every corner of the world's asphalt. A design conceived in the dark shadow of totalitarianism ultimately became the rolling embrace of all humanity. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. If history moves you as much as it moves us, subscribe to The Day Changed Everything, so you never miss a single event that reshaped our world.